Welcome, welcome. It is time for magnifying your purpose. Okay, we are on week 4, but that included the intention setting ceremony. So the third week of the real meat and potatoes workshops. So I'm going to do a quick recap, right? So week 1 was building confidence in your why, right? So basically, we wanted to define and embrace our why, envision a future built on top of our why. And so we went through a lot of different exercises and ways to find that. To find your why for your business, or if you're not a business owner, to find the why for your life. Like, what is the reason you're here? Why do you even exist? Why should you let your entire life pass by and you're not getting the most out of it? Because you're just following along what people tell you you should be doing, right? There's a reason you're here. You're totally unique, and there's a reason that you are totally unique. There's a reason that all humans are not the same, and it's because we have different things to bring to the table. There are different problems in the world that we each feel uniquely passionate about and empowered to help with. And so if you're not using your life and your business to make a difference, then you are missing out. The world is missing out, but you are also missing out on the beautiful sense of fulfillment from that. So that's what we talked about week 1. Week 2 was since we're talking about self-confidence, right? Your first that foundation of self-confidence is on your why. It's on the fact that this is not just little old me. It's a big world problem, and I'm uniquely suited to help fix it in this way, right? So you're not just saying, like, look at me, and peacocking, but what you're saying is, this is so important that I need to have confidence in order to make it happen, okay? So then week 2 was saying, I see this giant problem, but I feel inadequate to tackle it because I have these things from my past that are weighing me down. And so I am willing to release my past stories in order to become a big enough person, take up more and more space in the universe, in order to make this happen, in order to make my dream come true, the dream of making a difference in the world in my unique way, right? And so we let go of those past stories, and the way we did it was the exercise of recognizing when it's happening, recognizing when you're feeling that lack of confidence from the past, releasing it using the affirmation, and then replacing it with what you choose to have in your life now, right? So my example, of course, was organization. The idea that from age 5 or 6, my parents thought, were told by my teachers, that I was disorganized. And so I had to let go of that. I had to decide the problem that I want to fix in the world is big enough that I need to be organized. And so I am willing to let go of that feeling that I can't be in order to grow myself and my business. And so anytime I start to feel like, well, it's just a mess in here, I'll never get control of it, or I have too many beads, where am I going to put them all? Or, I don't have time to worry about my finances and get them straightened out. To recognize that that's happening, you can't stop it from happening, especially at the beginning. To recognize it's happening, to say, I release my past story, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner, and I choose. And so the one that I used was, I choose to be purposeful and intentional in all of my actions. So if you are purposeful and intentional, then you will be organized, right? You won't be just doing things haphazard and have to go fix it later. So I don't feel like I have that natural put things in boxes, but I do have an understanding of what it means to be purposeful and intentional, and that's my way to be organized, okay? So can I get a show of hands or some comments? Carrie, I see you're working, so that's fine. Comment when you can, but can somebody comment for me? Did you do that this week? Did you try it? If not, why didn't you? And if you did, how did it work? Were you at least able to notice when you were doing it that you were saying? I mean, I noticed that even today. Sometimes it's as little as, I've got some trash from where I was cleaning, and there's not a trash bag in there, and I think, let me just set this down, and I'll just come back to this later. When 30 seconds could mean pull out a new trash bag, put it in the trash can, and dump the trash in there. Like, this is the level at which I'm talking about I have a tendency to be disorganized. Like systematically. Like, I'll just deal with that later because the thing in my head is more important. But I have been catching myself all week and really all month, and like, Erin, just do it. Just do it now and get it out of the way so you don't have to look at it later. It's not that hard. So that was mine. That was my example. And I've been doing this, the recognize, release, and replace, for months and months and months, and for over a year. So it really does work, and it has helped me work through a lot of things. And now the things that I'm working on are getting more and more stuck. They're older and older and longer in history, and so I'm having to work a little bit harder than I did for some of the other ones. But so let me know if you tried it, and if not, you can be honest. It's okay. I'll just slap your wrist a little bit. But so after that, we've released our past story, okay? And now is the point where we get to look towards the future again. I was a little rough on you guys last week. We talked about belief being in the middle, that sweet spot between inertia and impatience. Inertia is saying, I can't do it. I don't have time. I don't have energy. I'm not good enough. What if I mess up? Fear of failure, fear of success. And then on the other side of that being impatience, where you say, well, I did it. I did what Erin said, and I tried it for a week, and it wasn't perfect, and I didn't change, and I'm not a totally new person. And so now I don't want to do it anymore. That doesn't work. Impatience, you have to believe in yourself that you can do it, but you also have to put the work in, and you also have to give it time, right? So belief being right in the middle of being willing to believe, willing to stretch yourself, and then willing to put in the effort. So Joanne, I caught myself today talking to myself about not getting enough done and made the choice to recognize and release and get to work. Isn't it amazing how we stop ourselves from succeeding even before we've succeeded? Because we'll say, I was doing a coaching call today with someone, and she was saying she's trying to get organized, and she keeps thinking in her head, you should have already had this done. You should have already had this done. And then she wasn't doing it because she felt guilt that she didn't already have it done. I mean, that's just silly, right? It's pre-logic. It's not based on something that we told ourselves was a good idea, but it's just there. It's just ingrained. And so recognizing that it's happening is honestly really a huge first step. You've got to get that first step of knowing it's happening, pulling it out of subconscious and into consciousness in order to get anywhere. Carrie. Okay, so not too messy yet. I want to write this part. I'm releasing the fear of failure in my business, confidence issues too, and taking positive real action steps instead of stressing out about it. One of them was hiring Erin, thank you, which actually made a huge difference in getting me out of my head. Carrie, you are lovely, and you're going to do incredibly well. And I'm just so excited to see this coming together for you, because already just from our few sessions, I can already see that you're getting excited about new product lines and getting excited about writing blogs and getting excited about doing this stuff because it's based on something you believe in and not based on having a successful business, right? When I was preparing for this, so I prepare like days in advance, and then I look at it in the morning, and then I look at it the hour before, right? When I'm doing these workshops. And as I was looking at it an hour before, I got so riled up about something, I wrote an entire blog post and then had to scramble to get on here. And I may or may not go off on a rant about that tonight, but essentially, I can't stand it when watching people get derailed from making their dreams come true because at some point it becomes about having a successful business. At some point it turns into the same thing as working for somebody else, because the business owns you. You don't own the business. If you let the idea of success, monetary success or fame or fortune or whatever it is, or just having people like your business, if you let that rule you, then you might as well be working for somebody else because you don't have control. What we're trying to do here is make sure that we stay in the driver's seat of our business. We make sure that we are making it happen and that it's happening in the manner that we want it to. Okay, so that's all I'll rant about that for the second. But since we've released that past, right, we're saying I am willing to go through some growing pains to become the next bigger version of myself. I want to start out with the affirmation, okay? So I want to tell you first about the oil. Y'all know I've gone through each of them this week. So for this one, it's Magnify Your Purpose. Makes sense, right? With the name of this workshop. And I'll be honest, I wondered, I'm like, are people going to show up to this workshop because they're going to be like, what does Magnify Your Purpose even mean? Or are they going to be like, I don't know, that sounds like hippie nonsense. But it's actually super cool. And so, hey, Jen. Yeah, anybody else who's on like another page, jump over to where we are. Just click through to the video. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Congratulations on your next interview. I'm excited for you. But magnify your purpose. Magnify is such a cool word to me, and it got me so excited about this oil. And I'm just going to read to you what I wrote in the blog, okay? Imagine the power of a magnifying glass. It has the ability to create fire with a pinpoint beam of light. It can also bring forth detail and make things that are far away seem near at hand. This oil blend helps us gain focus on the now and turn that focused energy into a greater force for our future. As you work out the details, the results get closer and closer and closer, and soon you realize you made much more progress towards your goals than you ever thought possible. The oils in here are sandalwood, rosewood, sage, nutmeg, patchouli, and ginger. And what this one does, so I want you to keep in your head, we're talking about detail and we're talking about focusing in order to light that fire, the spark that is going to make your business take off, okay? Get your life to where you want it to be. These oils, they increase creativity, focus, desire, and motivation, and give you a positive attitude, prevent procrastination, helps you overcome self-pity, and there are 3 grounding oils. So sandalwood, rosewood, and patchouli are all grounding. And why is that? Because you cannot magnify your purpose. You cannot create something giant. You can't grow an oak tree without a root system, right? So we're still down here working on the roots, but we now have our head towards the heavens, and we are seeing the tree that it's going to create, okay? So this oil, and I'm going to tell you while I'm talking details, okay? This little cutie right here, now I've got oil in my hands, so I don't really want to touch it, but this is hematite. So this is the main. I just got my other beads, so I'm going to make some more pendants that go with this theme of self-confidence. But this is my favorite anyway, and I already had the hematite. It is a fantastic crystal because of its simultaneous grounding properties and expanding properties. So what it does is it helps you to stay calm and focused and have willpower to get things done. And it also helps with expanding into a newer, better you. So what better than this, than saying, I've let go of the past, now it's time to get down and focus and become that new me, right? I have several of my pieces that I wear myself have hematite. It's also great for blood flow and energy, but it's just one of my favorite crystals. So, everyone, do you have your affirmation? Just in case you don't, I'll read each part first. I want everyone to take just a second. I know I'm a ball of energy. Everybody take a second and let's just be calm and get centered and focused and just really excited about what you're going to learn, because if you can put aside whatever the distractions are just for a minute and focus in on this, it's going to be life-changing, and not because of me, but because this is great truth. Okay, so we're going to do this. I got my oil, right? Drop it in my hand. I'm running out of all of these because I use them multiple times a day. All right. Anyone who's just joining, we're about to do the affirmation. So breathe it in. I love the fact that the oils that are great for anti-procrastination are also the calming ones. Because so often we procrastinate because our brains are going in so many different directions. And so the way to actually get more done with more energy is actually to reel it in and focus, right? Okay, so now we're going to do the affirmation. So the first part, I release making decisions out of fear or low self-esteem, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. So we're going to say that 3 times. I release making decisions based on fear or low self-esteem, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. I release making decisions based on fear or low self-esteem, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. I release making decisions based on fear or low self-esteem, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. And guys, this is powerful because you're going to make decisions. Everything you do is a decision, and you're either making it based on confidence or based on fear, okay? And so you want to make sure when you're making decisions, especially important business decisions, when you start a conversation with a client, when you show up for a business meeting, when you show up, Jen, for that final interview, make those decisions based on confidence, because that is your best foot forward, okay? So that is the thing you can control. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the emotion that you have going in. Okay, so we're going to do the rest of it. So I choose, I believe, I manifest, making all decisions based on confidence in my why, okay? So I choose to make all decisions based on confidence in my why. I choose to make all decisions based on confidence in my why. I choose to make all decisions based on confidence in my why. I believe I can make all decisions based on confidence in my why. I believe I can make all decisions based on confidence in my why. I believe I can make all decisions based on confidence in my why. And now I manifest. I manifest making all decisions based on confidence in my why. I manifest making all decisions based on confidence in my why. I manifest making all decisions based on confidence in my why. Okay? So, we've released low self-esteem and fear, and we are choosing confidence, but not confidence that is, aren't I so great, right? Not confidence of I'm better than somebody, but confidence on the why. And what is the why? The why is the problem that you see in the world that you care a lot about, and your unique ability based on who you are to help solve that problem, okay? So, our ultimate focus, the beam of light, the spark, the spice, the ginger that's in that oil blend helps you hold on to the things that are important, okay? The thing you want to hold on to, get rid of all the other distractions, cleanse those away, but hold on to your why. Now, I'm saying it's a world problem, right? For mine, it would be that people, they lose themselves. They're trying to live life, but they lose their health. They lose their purpose. They lose the chance to make a difference because they're just blindly going around. They don't have a focus on anything. And it's my job to help people find that wellness, find their purpose, find fulfillment, to regain themselves in life, okay? And so we've talked through this, and I think everybody who's live with me now does have your why. If you don't, we need to sit down and we need to do a coaching session to figure that out for you, because I'm going to talk about whys for forever. But if you have your why, go ahead and write that down for me. Put that in the comments, because every time you say that to someone or you write that down makes it more powerful for you, okay? So go ahead and put that there. But in the meantime, when I say your unique solution, okay, what do I mean by that? I don't mean that when I wrap crystals it looks like this. I don't really mean that I have a fluid, abstract, yet elegant style of jewelry wrapping. I do. That's my thing. But that doesn't make me unique enough to be the kind of business that I want to be, okay? There has to be something deeper than form and function to make your business powerful. Not just successful, but powerful, a powerful change agent. And so the uniqueness comes from you, okay? If you have a business that is truly unique and powerful, you are so integral to that business, your uniqueness, your strengths and your weaknesses, the way you view the world, the things that you care about, your talents, all of that, your communication style is so important that it becomes impossible to lose yourself in the business, okay? And this is part of that rant that I'm trying not to go off on a tangent with so we can get this done in an hour, but is that if you make yourself and the way that you view the world and your beliefs central to your business, then no matter how many hours you have to work, you won't lose yourself, okay? Can anybody give me some thumbs up on that? Does that sound amazing? To not wake up one day and realize, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm exhausted, and I feel like I lost myself somewhere along the way. That is why so many of us got out of the corporate world. I certainly did for that reason, because I kept trying to believe in what I was doing, and at every turn, I kept it kept being explained to me that your beliefs are not as important as our profit, right? I refuse to allow that to be more important than my belief system, than treating people fairly and with love and making the world a better place, right? So here I am creating my business that way, and that's what I'm saying you guys can do. You take the problem you see in the world, you take your unique solution, and we go make it happen, okay? So, your uniqueness. This means that you're going to have to be paying attention to what everybody else is doing, okay, and see how you're different. There's no way that you can just stick your head in the sand and never look at your competition and just hope for the best. That's not what I'm saying. And, you know, so that you don't feel like that self-pity, so that you don't feel like, oh, I'm not as talented as them, oh, I'm not as good as them. But when you look at them, when you see what they have to offer and you see what you have to offer, what we're aiming for here is self-awareness. Not self-consciousness, not I'm not as good as them, not self-aggrandizement, not, oh, I'm a better writer than they are, I take better photos than they do, you know, I'm a nicer person than them, whatever that would be. That's not self-confidence either, right? I mean, that's just being a jerk. But it's not real, and someone can crush you if it's based on me being better than somebody, because somebody's always better than you. If you have a lack of self-confidence based on always comparing yourself to others, then you're never going to get anywhere either. You're gonna hurt yourself at every turn. You're gonna chop off your feet, cut off your nose to spite your face, all that stuff. So it's self-awareness. It is being willing to say, these are my strengths, and I'm going to use them, and these are my weaknesses, and it's okay that I have weaknesses, because everybody does, and because I am willing to grow past them, okay? I may not take the best photos. I certainly didn't know how to take a product photo when I started my business, but I am willing to learn. So my weakness has now become at least a mediocre and moving towards a strength, right? So once you are willing to become self-aware, and whatever that means, taking stock of yourself as just a real person that you are, that is super powerful, okay? Joanne, my why is that I want to make people feel confident and good about themselves and what they wear. I think that that's it. So I want to make people feel confident and good about themselves and what they wear. And that is a fantastic thing to want to do, right? Obviously, the world needs much, much more of that. There are a lot of other people that want that too. And so this is a great example of why your unique solution is super important. You, as Joanne, are the person that make the difference in what is your reason that you want people to feel confident. How do you want them to feel confident? Confident in what? Confident in the fact that you can make their shape look the best that it can. Confident in that you create clothing that says something that they believe in, and so that makes them feel confident. Clothing that is great for the environment, and they have confidence in that, right? So there's another piece, a Joanne piece there, that is unique to you, and it comes from your life and your sense of weakness and your sense of what you need in the world. That is what really turns that up. And so everybody, I could say, right, other people want people to have health. Well, what is mine? I mean, mine is the fact that you cannot have health no matter how many pills you take unless you know yourself, you dig down deep, and you realize what you need as a unique individual. Jen, this year is when I realized I've been measuring my success based on others' goals, so I'm trying to pinpoint what my own goals are. Okay. That is a fantastic past story to let go of, because everybody has a sense of what success means that is based from the time that they're born. What did their parents think about success? What did their grandparents think about success? Their teachers, their first boss, their spouses, their significant others, their children, all of that goes into what you think about success. And it is so easy to get derailed. I mean, it's a daily fight to not think that success is somebody else's definition. I think about this every day, right? When I go, I was working 60 hours a week for Trader Joe's, and then I went down to 40 hours, and then I stopped being a manager, and I went down to 30, and now I'm down to 2 days a week. But that doesn't really make me feel any less like I still work for Trader Joe's. So if my confidence was, and my sense of success was based on not having to work for another business, then I would still feel unsuccessful. Fortunately, I know that really my confidence is based on being able to grow my own business. And part of growing a business is being intelligent and knowing where your money's going to come from, right? So I'm the kind of person who's not going to go jump off a cliff just so that I don't have to work for Trader Joe's anymore. I'm going to do this in a rational way. But it doesn't make me not stop and think sometimes when I'm talking to a customer and they don't know anything about me, and they don't know I'm a wellness coach, and they don't know I make crystal jewelry, and they just think I'm a cashier, right? And so you can get derailed pretty easily, no matter who you are, no matter how much money you make, no matter what you do for a living, by worrying. So this is one of the posts that I did, releasing your perception of others' perception of you, right? I don't know what those people think about me. I don't know what y'all think about me. I can make a guess, but my guess is going to be wrong no matter what. It's either going to be different, better, or worse than what you actually think. And so it's a giant waste of energy to be worrying about what other people think. And so that in and of itself is a fantastic mantra. Okay, so yeah, that was a good one, right? I mean, we all do it. We all perceive the way people perceive us, and it's a lot of levels down, and a wasted energy. So what am I saying here? What are the details that I'm talking about? Magnify your purpose, getting down into the details. Okay. So it's a balance of external and internal awareness. External and internal awareness. You have to know your craft. You have to know your customer. You have to know your competition. You have to know, there are basics about running a business. There's basics about being a mom. There's basics about being a wife. There's basics about all of the things in life that you need to not totally ignore what's happening in the rest of the world around you, right? And say, well, it only matters what's inside of me. No, I mean, you live in a universe and people have choices, and if you want them to choose your business, then you need them to see that there's something that your business offers that's what other people don't offer. But we can get so bogged down in those details that we don't do the internal part, and that's what I'm here for, right? I am the angel on your shoulder saying, okay, get back inside, get back in your why, take stock, think about what you want, stop looking at how Sally makes soap or how Susie crochets or whatever, and think about yourself, because that is easier to ignore. So when you're looking at your product, we get so caught up in, is my product good enough, right? Is it good enough? That we don't take a second to stop and think, how do I feel about my product? Do I like my product? Even if my customers think my product is great, but I hate it, I got to figure out why I don't like it. Is there something that can make it even better? Or am I looking at this weird? Or is that the person that likes this one thing not really my target market, and I should really be focusing on this other product, right? How do I feel about my business? Does my business satisfy me? When I wake up in the morning, am I excited to go to work? Or is there just total dread? Do I feel that I'm organized? Do I feel that I have a plan? And if not, that's an issue, and you need to address that. How do I feel about my competition? Am I jealous of them? Do I think I'm doing it way better than them, and why are people not noticing me, right? So you don't need to ignore the way that you feel. It's not black and white, good or bad, better or worse, right? The way that you feel about it makes a big difference too. So, for example, if I make, let's see, so I was making a bunch of stone crystals, right? That's super expensive. Making a single stone, wrapping that in silver, putting on a silver chain, is costing me a lot to make. And so I'm charging people, you know, $70, $80, $90 and still not making a giant profit after I've put all the other time. And it's like, okay, I can keep doing that and reach only people who want to spend $80 or $90, but that doesn't really make me happy. And that's how I got to doing the beaded pendants, because there's enough beads here that there's enough crystal energy, and the beauty of it is in my wire wrapping. So my technique becomes just as important as the stone itself. And I'm still doing the Reiki cleansing and the sage cleansing and the Reiki intention setting and all that stuff that takes me a long time. But I'm able to price it at $40, which people can afford. So I can sell a lot more of them, not because that makes me more money, but because I'm actually getting it into the hands of people who need that crystal energy, rather than just getting into the hands of people who can afford that crystal energy. Does that make sense? That, you know, I want to be able to make really great products, but it's really important to me for them to be affordable to people who are at the beginning of a journey. So that part of the way that I have created my product line is by really thinking about myself. What do I want from my product line? Not where's the target market and how can I make it for them? Because if you focus on that, eventually you lose yourself. You start to, you know, it's the perception of of your perception of their perception of your perception of them, or whatever. You get lost in this giant circle of, you don't actually know Susie Q that buys your stuff. You're just guessing about her, rather than creating something you feel powerfully about and then going and finding the person that needs that. Okay, that was another soapbox. Sorry. So what is going well? This is another thing that we want to focus on. What in my life, what in my business is going well, and why is it going well? Okay. If you do a sale and it goes great, why did that work? If you make a decision about your life, if you decide, you know what, these friends I have are not good for me and I need to get rid of them and I need to focus on myself, and then your life gets a lot better, you need to stop and think, why was I with those people? What was it? How was it they were affecting me, and why am I better now? If you make a health change, what's working and why is it working? Or else you will not be able to make those same good decisions, right? If you don't know why. What needs improvement? So again, non-judgmentally, what needs improvement? My SEO, my photography, my organizational skills, my time management. What is it that I'm embarrassed of, or I feel guilt about, that I can change, that I do have some sort of influence over? You know, you can't, I keep going back to the physical, there are things about your physique that you can't change. You know, your bone structure, unless you want to go get a bunch of plastic surgery, that's your bone structure, that you're stuck with that. But I mean things like, do you get angry easily? And you know that that's not helping you in your business, because when somebody writes a bad review, you just totally lose it for 3 days because you don't know how to handle that. And you know that about yourself. And so to stop judging yourself and become self-aware and aware that this is a past story, this is going to be a way that I used to be and I am not anymore, okay? And so when we are willing to get down inside of ourselves with the magnifying glass and say, this is Erin, this is unapologetically, these are the great things about Erin, and these are the not so great things about Erin, and these are the things I love about me, these are the things that I want to fix. And just take stock. That's all there is to it. Just say, this is me, and this is what I have to work with. Now let's get to work, okay? So, what I want you guys to do, let me look and see if, the other thing is, am I doing things that are getting in my way, right? That's the emotional piece. Am I second-guessing myself? Am I making decisions based on fear? Am I going and looking at other people's shops all day long to try and figure out why I'm worse than them? Like, cut that stuff out. If there's something you're doing that is shooting yourself in the foot, that would be a great place to start, okay? But what we're going to do, I want everyone to get a pen and paper, okay? And we're going to write our strengths and weaknesses. And there should be a lot of them. I started with one piece of paper, and it became this, okay? If you're not very self-aware, you'll have a short list. If you're incredibly self-aware, you'll have a long list. So this will be a good indicator, a good litmus test for how self-aware you are, based on whether or not, what kind of a list you can come up with quickly, okay? So I want everyone to grab their pen and paper, and you're going to write strengths on one column, and you're going to write weaknesses on one column. And I want you to start with strengths, okay? Ignore the weakness column totally for a second. Write down every single strength you can think of. And I don't just mean I sew well. I mean I'm a good communicator, I'm kind, I'm smart, I'm understanding, I'm humble, I'm confident, whatever that is. All of those strengths for your entire life that you've built up, okay? And I want y'all to tell me when you're done with that. And while y'all do that, if you're on another page, and so I can't see your comments, if you're on anything besides facebook.com/LulaMayEssentials, get on the page with us, click the video, okay? But everyone write down your strengths. You're not going to be able to have a giant long list because I'm not going to give you enough time, but it should be the ones that pop out to you. The ones you know about yourself really well, and then you can spend the rest of the week getting deeper and deeper and deeper into this. Y'all give me some thumbs up when you're done, and write a few of your strengths down in the comments for me so we have something to work with. I'm adding some clarity while y'all do this. What have you got, Jen? Jen, you're a good listener. Okay. So, you are, I'm going to assume that means you're not a big talker. And I think we actually went back and forth on a post about this. And so you are going to be a perfect example for what I'm going to talk about next. But, okay, I'm a good listener. Joanne, I am intuitive, caring, loving, humble, creative, and smart. Excellent list. And Jen, I am a great friend, okay? Being a good listener often makes a great friend. All right, so everybody else, whenever you think of them, you can write them down. But here's what I want you guys to do. If anyone, give me a thumbs up if you read my the blog post that I did yesterday called "Sometimes Your Weakness is Actually Your Superpower," something like that. It's about realizing that if you're honest with yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses tend to be a double-edged sword, right? They tend to be part and parcel of the same thing. They're the thing that makes you unique, but they can go either way, okay? So I'm just going to read a couple things from this. So one part of our uniqueness that we often forget is that there are things in life that we find fun, interesting, worthwhile, other people find totally boring, right? Like, so for me, reading blogs about natural health, like doing my own research to figure out how to fix my thyroid issue, right? Most people would never do that. I mean, that's why I'm here having a business, because people cannot sit there for hours and hours and days and weeks and months and years to figure this out themselves. They want to go find help, right? So I find that fun and interesting, and that makes me unique. We forget about these things, though, because they're such a part of who we are that we don't really understand why other people don't enjoy them. So I don't know why people don't find that fun, and so it's easy for me to forget that that's unique about me because I just assume that that's the way everybody is. So that is one of my strengths, okay? The fact that I am thinking and researching and learning and growing all of the time. It is also a potential weakness for me, okay? So I can get easily bored. It's hard for me to do the same thing for a long period of time, just over and over and over and over again. Sometimes I'll like not really learn something all the way because I don't sit on it long enough or get detail enough about it because I want to move on to the next thing. So what I want you guys to do is, in the spirit of non-judgment, but in the spirit of taking real stock of ourselves, I want you to take where you wrote the strengths and across from them, okay, I want you to write the potential weakness that is the flip of that. So, for instance, I have, I love to learn, think, read, write, communicate, teach, nurture, support, accomplish goals, see others succeed. That was like my first section, okay? My weaknesses: impatience, need new stimulus, get bored, can over-communicate, Lack organization. Want to just help everybody for free. I don't like conflict. I don't take time to appreciate the success and the accomplished goals I already have. And I need to make sure that I do. So, do you see how all of those things sound great? Learn, think, write, communicate, teach, nurture, support, accomplish goals, see others succeed. But there's a flip side if you're not using them properly. Okay, so I want y'all to take just a couple seconds, and I want you to write down in the comments. We'll just do one because I don't want to take up all the time, and y'all can sit down and really think through this. But write down for me. So being a good listener. What's the potential negative for that, Jen? And then I got to get back to the page. So Joanne, pick one or two of yours. Intuitive, caring, loving, humble, creative, and smart. And give me the flip side of that. What is the potential negative for those things? Okay? All right. What have we got? May be perceived as shy or antisocial. Okay. So, Jen, the reason that yours is so interesting is because last week we were talking about a past story we wanted to release. And Michelle said that her weakness was being shy. And we actually had a conversation about how she needed to realize that the strength half of that was being a good listener, right? And so what you've done is you've said, here's my strength as being a good listener, but you need to realize that there's another side of that could harm you in your business. You need to be able to work on breaking out of your shell. What is the reason that you might be shy? What is the reason that you might not like to talk? That there may be a confidence thing or a fear thing, or sometimes for me it can be just not like an emotional disconnect. I can get so in my head that there are people in the room and what's in my head is more interesting to me than what the person has to say to me. And that's not a good thing. Being in my head is actually, being a smart person is great, but I want to care and love on other people, and I need to be able to shut the brain part down a little bit in order to get into the zone with the other person, right? Especially at parties. I really want to have deep, meaningful conversations, and sometimes my friends just need me to have fun with them. And that is not my strong suit, but I realize that. And so I'm literally able to have a party, have people over for Game of Thrones, and say to myself, Erin, this is a social situation. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a great time, and you're going to love it. And you can think about that other stuff later, right? To walk yourself through not letting your strength be the thing that shoots you in the foot. Okay, so Joanne, I can care too much and get so invested it makes me depressed, and I get bored easily. Okay, so the smart thing, same thing as me, right? Getting bored easily. But I can care too much and get so invested it makes me depressed. So, what was your initial one? Let me see if I can see all of the comments. So, yeah, so being caring, humble, kind, right, compassionate can often, I can't say this enough, often lead to burnout for business people who are that way. If you are a kind business person, you can end up giving away everything and not making money for yourself. I struggle with this literally every single day. If I could just coach people for free and talk to y'all and walk you through all of your life situations, I would be happy as a clam. But I have to put food on my table, right? And I have things I want to get done in life. And so being able to say to yourself, use that kindness, compassion, and humbleness to your advantage, but do not let it keep you from making the difference in the world that you can make. If I don't charge you guys for coaching, my business doesn't exist, and then I can't help you, right? If you don't charge people for your sewing, then you can't make a difference in the world, right? And your part of your why is comes into play with the costumes, right? And we talked about this, that singers like me, I didn't want to be a singer because I was a fat kid, right? That's so dumb. You go to the Met Opera now, and all of these women are big-chested because you have to have a big rib cage and a big diaphragm to sing those big notes. If somebody had told me that as a kid, I might be an opera singer right now, but nobody did. I didn't know. So what you don't want to let your wanting to just give it away and not believe in yourself and think that your stuff doesn't have value. It's more of a helpful value than a monetary value. You don't want to let that stop you from helping these people feel fantastic and like they could just put on the best show of their lives. Does that make sense? So your strength and your weakness, it's all so nuanced that this is why this magnifying your purpose is so key. Guys, if you can be the business owner that is willing to look at yourself in all of your glory and all of your grime, then you are going to be able to grow a solid, meaningful, powerful business that these other people next to you who are just growing a business for profit, they can't touch that. They do not feel satisfied at the end of the day because they don't know the impact that they're making in the world. Making an impact in the world is what drives us as human beings. That is the best part of our character, right? And so you have to be willing to do whatever it takes, and what it takes is knowing everything about yourself and utilizing every single ounce of your ability, your strength, working around your weakness if necessary, being willing to grow past it if you can, in order to be a great small business owner. We're not talking about companies here where you could be a great analyst, but you suck at talking to people, and so they just leave you in the analyst room and you never have to talk with people, right? That's not the way that a small business works. That's not the way that your real life works. There could be, if you're married, let's use this as an example, okay? And one of you is great at keeping money, and one of you is terrible at keeping money. You can probably make that work for a while by having the person who's good at keeping money control it all. But if this other person does not become self-aware that they don't know how to handle money, you are going to have friction ultimately because you have to have money. So the more self-aware you are in real life, the more you can grow and become a better person, the more better relationships you'll have, the better health you'll have. You'll be able to release these past stories and let go of stress, and the more success you'll have just in everything. So my heart, my passion is that growing your business and growing yourself, growing your children and growing yourself, growing your relationship and growing, it's all the same thing. You cannot disconnect them. Being willing to grow every single day is what makes your life the best life that you can have. So that's what I'm here to say. If y'all totally disagree with me, feel free to comment. But if you agree with me, give me some thumbs up, because it is about self-awareness. It is about losing self-consciousness and growing self-awareness, which is true confidence, okay? We're getting to the end of this whole thing. I am not saying to be arrogant. I am not saying to think you're better than other people. What I am saying is that you can have confidence based on knowing your strength, understanding your weakness, and being willing to make the effort to grow past those weaknesses, to get bigger and bigger, take up more and more space, and make a bigger difference in the world. You have to have belief in yourself, and you have to be willing to put in the effort. And if you have those things, then honestly and truly, the sky is the limit, okay? There's nothing that can stop you once you're willing to take stock and willing to put in the effort to get where you want to go. And the thing that keeps you going is the why, is the passion that you have for this problem in the world that will help you through those tough times where you're like, Aaron said to work around my weaknesses, but this one is just killing me today. That's okay. You're going to have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off, but knowing where you're headed, why you're headed there, and all of the tools that you have to get there, that is the way to do this. So I wrote this at the end. I don't like, what's the word for this? I don't like metaphors. I like to talk straight mostly, but I'm going to read this because I think it's a good one. Ultimately, you distinguish yourselves from the competition, from other people around you, by your willingness to dig deep, plant in good soil, grow roots, and then grow a tall tree that produces abundant fruit, okay? Everyone is focused on abundance mindset, and I think an abundance mindset is super key. But I am talking about digging in the dirt here. I am talking about growing roots, and sometimes the things I ask you to do make you feel like crap for a week. Sometimes when I ask you to release a past story, you have bad dreams. You know, I was releasing a lot of stuff this month, and I have had a lot of dreams. you know, where my ex is trying to apologize to me for being a total jerk, and I don't want to hear it. And all of that is because I have decided that I'm not, whatever happened to me in the past is not going to be used as an excuse for how I live my life, my relationships, my business, my happiness, right? But when you do that, you have got to go through this detox of your brain working through all of this stuff. And so sometimes if I coach you, you're going to feel like crap. But it's just like detoxing all of the toxins that you've been taking in eating potato chips and drinking alcohol and smoking and all that stuff. Sometimes you feel like crap to get it out of your body. So that is, being serious is one of my strengths, if you haven't noticed. And I have to try harder to be fun. But I'm just so passionate about this, and I don't know, I'm willing to say it as many ways as I need to say it for you guys to believe me that putting in the effort is what gets you the harvest. Yes, growing pains, right? Did you want to stay 3 feet tall, or were you willing to go through some growing pains as you got to be the height that you are now, right? Jen, I had horrible dreams when I started my monthly let go sessions. Yeah, I mean, it has not been pleasant. I have not been sleeping as well or as long, but like I know when I wake up in the morning that there's a reason for it. But it got better once I became more self-aware. So, amazing. If y'all are all on the same page with me, we are good to go. This week, we're just going to focus on details. We're going to focus on this giant list. I want your list to be this long, and I want it to be on your wall. And I want you to, when you see yourself doing something that you feel great about, make sure that's on your strength list. And when you see yourself falling into a hole or you feel like you're struggling, make sure that's on your weakness list. And here's what I want to tell you about the weaknesses. If you can't fix it right now, then you need to be willing to not worry about it. If you can fix it, then you need to be willing to fix it. So let's take, for example, my thyroid condition. I had a thyroid condition and I have terrible digestion. And I had to decide I can't fix both. I was trying to fix my thyroid issues by eating better and by taking pills, but I couldn't digest them. So I'm like, I'm going to have to figure out another way to fix my thyroid so that then I have enough energy to like make good food for myself, right? And to work on the other issues. So I basically had to decide I'm just not going to stress about anything about my health. If I'm tired, I'm going to lay down, but I'm going to work through my thyroid thing, then I'm going to work through the health thing. Then I'm going to work through X, Y, Z, you know, all of those things. You got to pick one at a time. If you can't fix it now, stop worrying about it. Do not let it stress you out. If you can fix it, then you need to do it now. Allison, I know you're a serious person, but your case of the giggles was epic. Yeah, if I start laughing, like there were tears, mascara was everywhere. That's how I'm fun, because when I'm finally fun, people just don't even know what to do with me. When I start get on the dance floor, you know, people are just like, I don't even know what's happening right now. But so what I want to say to you is grace and hard work. Okay. If I put aside having really great photography for a long time because of fear of it and just time, and I just said I got to figure out all this other stuff. Now I'm at the point where I can start working on my photography, right? Now is my moment. And then I'll have another thing. I'm putting aside Pinterest right now. Then I'll have that thing. So that you do this in business. Don't try and do everything horribly or everything mediocrely. Focus on the things that you can do well, and give yourself grace for the other stuff. If you're not great at taking pictures, then have the best copy out there. Have the best attitude. Have the best, live videos, whatever it is. And then work through that other stuff as you have time. So, okay, we're at 10 now. So does anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns? This week, I want you to be honest with yourself about your strengths and your weaknesses, and decide where are the places you want to grow, where are the ways that you might be letting your strengths become weaknesses, and what are the things that you just need to not worry about right now, okay? Take on what you can take on. As we have said before, the elephant one bite at a time, right? Okay. Any other questions? I want to make sure I give you all a chance before we jump off. Thank you guys for joining. You're all fantastic and wonderful, and I want the best for you. And I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this gives you the strength to look at yourself as the real person that you are, and not with the lens of negativity or the lens of too much positivity, right? Don't look at yourself in a distorted way. Look at yourself the real you that you are, and that's the beautiful, unique you that is going to make your life and your business successful. Okay? Jen, I'm glad you're excited. I'm super excited for your interview too, and I'm so glad that you've had all this growth that is making you even more able to do an amazing job at that. That's the way life works. You just, as you're working on yourself, you're able to take advantage of opportunities. So thank you, everyone. You're wonderful. I love you all, and I will keep connected with you this week, and then next week is the releasing ceremony. If y'all want help with your intentions, I'm going to post the intention setting session for $12.50. We can talk for 30 minutes, and we can get an affirmation to make your intentions happen. So if y'all want to do that, let me know. I'm going to put the link below. But that is it. Have a fantastic week. Do lots of good work, and do some self-care too. Love on yourself a little bit as well. All right, guys? I will see y'all next time. Bye.